Hey everybody, Psychosaurus is here, and today, well, first of all, I don't think I've mentioned this one yet, but the contest for the capital city decoration contest, yeah, I was talking about this. It's been out for a while now. I didn't talk about it yet because I didn't release that many videos lately. It's been hard on me, but yeah, the contest is here. I'll leave the link in the description so you can read the rules and see what you can win. And just so you know, what is it called? The end of like when you can send your screenshots is 25th of August, so pretty soon. Okay, so make sure if you wanna attend, participate in the contest, make sure to take those screenshots as soon as possible. Like I said, link in the description, you can read it for yourself. Now the main thing I want to talk about, and Frog Poison opened this one a few weeks back, advisor suggestions. Now he's like concerned, I'll keep it short, that there are some advisors that need buffs because they are underperforming. So I want to comment on this because there are advisors that might need some changes, and then there are advisors which are mentioned here, and I'm like, nope, these don't need changes. At least not in the need right now. So let's start with the first one, and he split it into multiple. Like you have the main post, and then he's got in the comments. So we got the H1 advisors first here. So first one mentioned here, Lucky Lookout Leucon. Now this advisor has a little bit of problem. Like it's not that it would be a bad advisor, because like, yeah, building line of sight is nice, your scout moves faster, has more health, stuff like that. That's pretty nice. The issue is once you lose your scout, Leucon does nothing except of buffing your building line of sight. And for H1 advisor, I mean, do you really need that? Do you really need that? It's not that it would be necessarily bad, but there are better options, and you need the economy rather than just line of sight. And like, what's the point of having it like this early? Like you have the one watch post, you have the gear on it. Who needs more line of sight at this point? So yeah, it's not gonna get picked that much. The cases you might want to pick him, and I think I was talking about this a couple times before, when you're scouting the quest for the first time, so you can like pick local, your scout has better line of sight, it runs faster, so you can scout it faster. Build yourself a watch post so you can see far away, and if available, get the line of sight tech from TC. And yeah, you just scout the map, so that's something where you can use Logon. Other than that, I guess there is one case, and that is city conquest, city defense, because it's not mentioned here, but Logon actually does affect Vemunder and Biorix in city conquest, city defense. And that's obviously other quests, since Vemunder is appearing in other quests as well. So if you use Logon there, he buffs those. And obviously that helps a lot with the additional health. Makes it somewhat easy to deal with those quests all of a sudden. So that's where you can use him as well. Other than that, you're not really gonna find usage for him. And a suggestion here from Poison, which is, in my opinion, very somewhat nonsense. It's just about overbuffing the scout, which obviously it would buff Bjorix and Vemunda as well, but if we ignore those, it's just a lot of stats for scout. Now if we take a look at this, he's suggesting either 4 times the health, which would be a lot, 35 health per second regen, which is goddamn a lot. Like with this, oh boy, hunting would be easy. Or 75 baseline armor versus everything, which is like, if you have the health regen on your scouts, yeah, that armor is gonna give you a lot of value. But it works just like the 4 times health. Yeah, I don't know if I would agree with like overbuffing the scout that much. It's somewhat nonsense in my opinion. And again, if you lose the scout, which is gonna happen no matter what, what's the point after that? Like, does nothing. What I would like to see maybe as a change, and I would just remove the build time, which doesn't really work for your scouts, and instead just make the watch posts cheaper, maybe build faster as well, but they build quite fast already, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Just make them cheaper and just build your watch posts so you can see the map, and make sure you pay attention to your minimap so you can see the enemies coming. And other than that, I don't really know what to do with this advisor. It's not that, like I said, not necessarily bad advisor, but it's just, why would I pick him? Okay, number 2, Odysseus. Now, currently Odysseus is minus 15% cost for your barracks, which is not bad, but it's H1 and they have better advisors than that. If you ask me, Odysseus, in my opinion, is an advisor that's designed more for PvP than PvE at this point. You know, the aggressive playstyles where they build a lot of, like, you build your first barracks, you get your first units out sooner thanks to the lower cost since you don't need that much wood. Yeah, that's what I think about Odysseus, because what else would you do with it? Like, you don't really need that many barracks, and if you build just one, maybe two, you're saving like 30-60 wood. That's it. Not a huge discount. Not gonna help you that much. So what Frog Poison is suggesting, here it is, cost reduction to 50%, giving him an additional 50% build time reduction for barracks. Now I have one problem with this. What's the point of this? Like, okay, I start H1, I picked Odysseus. Now I built multiple barracks. What do I do with those? I mean, seriously, I don't have enough food to keep production from those. I don't have enough gold to keep the production going. What's the point of having that many barracks? I mean, yeah, sure, okay, I saved some small amount of wood. If I build just one barracks, okay, I saved 100 wood. That's better, sure. But what am I gonna do with it? I guess H1 I could build like extra storehouse somewhere, but still, why not just pick, I don't know, Muikmeron? I just don't see the value in here until like late game, when I'm just getting my production up so I can keep spamming my units, and then maybe building forward bases, mainly barracks. But it's like late game. Do I really care about it that late? I pick H1 advisor to have effect late game, really? I think this suggestion, although it sounds good, in my opinion, it's not really that useful, especially if you start H1. What's the point of having that many barracks? Not really. What I feel like, and I would like kind of keep with the team of Odysseus, is like getting out your first units faster. Like the 15% cost helps here. If it would add build time, I would not really care, but I feel like it would be nice to have like discount, maybe even training time for your spearmen. And I mean seriously just spearmen, nothing else, because everyone starts with the barracks, castellums for Romans obviously, and you just want to get out your first units. Why not just help that? Why not just make the spearmen cheaper, and only spearmen? I mean, we have advisor that affects spearmen only, so why not, right? I feel like that would kind of keep with the Odysseus theme of like getting your first units out sooner, and it would work really nice. So why not? I think it would be much more useful than this, and in some quests it could be nice. Okay, Rockhound Erastos. So he's arguing with Minor Cleon that gives 1200 extra gold. I think, yeah, this rock poison is suggesting upping the conservation to full 100%. Just why? I don't know. I mean, it would be nice, sure, but why? So he's arguing Cleon giving you 1200 extra gold from gold mines. Sure, when gold mines give 3000 gold versus 1000 stone from a stone deposit. So whereas Erastus only provides roughly 500 stone from stone mines. Well, obviously it's just one stone mine with 1000 units. And unlike Minor Clown, who is quite strong on maps where you can't make caravans, there aren't really any maps in which you absolutely need all the excess stone. I would also suggest buffing the amount of stone carrying to 50%. Doesn't do anything, by the way. I mean, seriously, you just build a storehouse right next to the stone deposit. What's the point of having the extra carry capacity? It ain't gonna do anything. So he's saying that you get 500 stone from a stone mine. I mean, stone mine has 1000 stones. Now he was also, I was arguing with about this one, and he will put an argument like, hey, you can buy 714 stone with the 1200 gold, and that's true, but it's like one single situation when there are like many situations to consider here actually. So 500 stone, that's true when you're H1. Once you reach H2, H3, and you get your stone gathering upgrades, it's gonna be even more stone for you. And if I say that we get like 1500 with just the two upgrades, for just some example, all of a sudden it's 750 stone from Erastos, which is pretty good. So that's one thing, you're getting that. He was arguing 714 stone, but when you do the calculations, that's in case you're Silver Age, you have the Coin Age and price adjusting tax from the market, and you already have bought some stone. That's another thing. So yeah, before that you obviously get some more. But here's another argument. What do you think is gonna take more time to mine? 1200 gold or 750 stone? Especially when Erastus gives you 5% extra gather rate. I mean, yeah, Cleon, you're gonna pick Cleon on something like, I don't know, come together, but are you seriously gonna spend that limited amount of gold you have on buying stone? I don't really think so. And again, that's just one specific situation. When we talk about the other situations, at that point we have caravans. And most of the times it's just a caravan, it's a gold income that we have. And we don't really need Cleon, so again, he's arguing with like minor Cleon, but you pick minor Cleon because you're limited on gold, not because he's that strong. And I think he wrote somewhere like these advisors are like used in niche situations. Okay, but Cleon is literally being used in niche situations as well. You're not gonna pick him all the time because you're always gonna end up with caravans. And you don't really need that much gold because, as he said, well, he did not here. One gold deposit is 3,000 gold. That's a lot of gold for early game. There's not really that many units that would like make you spend all of that gold, and usually there's multiple gold deposits, so usually you don't really need Cleon, and Cleon is good for only niche situations where you're limited. Like, okay, you could use him, no argument there, but he's better and most preferably picked in those quests where you cannot go caravans, and it's just true. And similar Erastos, if you need a lot of stone, there are quests where you need stone. There's not that many, sure, but it still can be useful, especially into some good combo, like Stephanos H3 to save even more stone, and like fully utilize the stone you gather. So, I mean, you have options with Erastus, and to be honest, if you feel like to, you can do some weird strategy with like, I don't know, building a lot of towers and pushing with towers as you build them. I don't know, it's just a weird idea, but why not try it, right? You can do that. And another thing, I was trying Erastus recently, and I found it really good, where I feel like I want a stone, but I don't really want to put that many villagers on it. So I put like 2-3 villagers early on the stone, and all of a sudden I don't really have to worry about stone. Unless I need a lot of stone, but I don't really need to worry about the stone that much from that point, because I get so much stone. I don't really worry about it. You can try it for yourself, but yeah, it's just a small buff at that point. But is it gonna help? It is, definitely. If you want just a lot of stone and you don't want to spend or put too many villagers on it, just grab Erastus and put like 2 or 3 and focus on the other resources. Okay, Apep. So this one is similar to Erastus. And I'll be honest, after trying Apep, I'm so happy about Apep. I was like, I would never use this advisor, and now that I look at it, it doesn't look that bad. And I'll be honest, it was not really that bad. And I can highly recommend using Apep, especially on the new quest pack, the Aiding Socrates, because there's usually a lot of huntables and berry bushes, and some of them even have the fishing spots. Now, what was here again? Similar to Erastos. Vastly increased conservation. Albep should allow a player to continue to harvest berries and herbables well into H4. I don't know why. Like, what's the point? You're gonna run out of those anyway. I don't really feel like you need that much. And huntables, and even the berry bushes with Albep, those become really great sources of food early. And this is another advantage I see in Albep. Because he has the conservation, you can like delay building your farms, so you have also some more wood early. Pretty good advisor. Do I recommend using him? You should try him and see for yourself. Try it in the new quest pack. I think most of the quests should be fine with Apep. Try him and see for yourself. That's what I'm gonna say. In my opinion, he's pretty good advisor. If I had to say, does he need buff? I would say maybe small one, but I'm pretty okay the way he is now. And obviously he has some weaknesses, especially on quests where you don't have that many of those early food sources. So yeah, he's not gonna be great in those cases, but if you have like good amount, like you don't really need that many, just enough for your early game to keep up with your food. It's pretty okay there. Just try and see for yourself. Okay, moving on. To get his impact to be anywhere near that of other advisors, you have to make an absolutely absurd amount of storehouses. I mean, no, you don't need to. Okay, the way I see Muikmeron, and like after going through the numbers, I came to the realization that Muikmeron makes your storehouses practically cost free. Like practically they cost nothing. Now I should explain this. It's not like literally they cost nothing, but you save enough wood from the cost discount. Then you also save some build time. And if you put that villager with the extra time on a resource, you get back more than enough to like compensate for the rest of the cost. That's how say Muikmeron like almost free storehouses if when I look at it like that. So that's a nice thing about it. Like you build a lot of storehouses. If you have enough resources, you can just make them all research all the tags, and since you build them sooner, yeah, you get them sooner as well. Pretty good advisor. And early, I feel like sure you might not build that many storehouses, but for early game, you're placing your villagers everywhere. You don't want them to travel that long. Why not just build a storehouse? It's so cheap with Muikmeron. And definitely you should try it. And it's definitely rewarding advisor in my opinion. Now, what are the changes here? Even though he was altered to affect ox cards, it was not altered. I think this was that the ox cards were not included in the description, so that was just added. So he has even less impact on Wimbledon because you can actually make that many ox cards. Honestly, you don't really need that many ox cards, and ox cards actually cost twice as many resources. Cost 50 food, 50 wood, so the discount is greater overall. And also, yeah, you might build like 50% of the ox cards. Like, yeah, I mean early. Like, early you get like few ox cards, you saved a lot. Like, even if you did just 2 or 3 versus like 6 storehouses, that's about the same. Plus, it's a save work time for your TC, so that's also really good. I would not underestimate Muikmeron, if you ask me. You just need to try him and see for yourself how good he is. And yeah, suggesting to go up to 90% both cost and build time reduction. And then also this nonsense giving Oxcart 0 population. This is nonsense because that will make this advisor giving some additional bonus to one specific civ, which doesn't make sense because when you take a look at every other global advisor or general advisor, I don't know what to call them, non-safe specific ones, they always grant yourself something, and all those bonuses are something you can use. Like giving this bonus doesn't make sense. That would break the rule. And why? Just so this one Sith can have this advantage. Dude, Babylonians are already really strong Sith. They don't need this. It's nonsense if you ask me. Like I said, give Wickman a try. See for yourself. Agathon, you might know I like Agathon in quests when I'm very limited on the early food, and since the food early is mainly invested into villagers, he helps a lot. 25% discount is already pretty good, and an advisor that's almost good. He's not almost good, he is really good. I think buffing the cost reduction to 35% is overkill. You don't need this. I mean, even going from 20 to 25% in my book was overkill. Would be enough to place him as a top H1 advisor alongside Zephyros. Dude, I'm gonna say Zephyros is the most overrated advisor. And Philon, I don't really want to say he's that overrated, but he might be a little bit overrated. Irene doesn't need buff. Doesn't. She does not need buff. Come on. Once the actual map was done on economic impact versus Zephyros Philon, Irene slipped down the tier list. I mean, you say economic impact, but what is the economic impact? And there is another thing. So, when you think about it, some advisors have like immediate impact, and then there are advisors that have like prolonged impact, which would be something like the gather rate, so you get like the value over time, whereas Wickman is more like I give you the value immediately, and that's not the same thing. Like, yeah, you give me value over time, but you need to give me more value than the immediate ones, because the immediate ones are like something you use right now. I was thinking about doing some like analyzing those advisors, showing like how does their impact work. I might do that sometime, but since the advisory work is coming up, it might need to wait. But tell me if you would like to see that. Yeah, yeah, it does not need it. Like I said, pick her, you start in H3, pick her, get all those upgrades you want, because that's what she's gonna give you the best value overall. And what was he suggesting? Train time of, you mean research time of storehouse technologies? No. Would it be bad? Not necessarily, but you don't really need that. Come on. Do you really need that? Like, come on, you pick her, you have it cheap, you just grab everything right away. You you play without her, you can grab like one, maybe two techs before you're like without resources. I don't think she needs that. I think she's fine the way she is right now. Shahryar. Now Shahryar has only one problem in my opinion. That's the rally point for the sheep. That's the biggest disadvantage of his. And I think I suggest moving sheep spawn from TCs to houses and longhouses, which I'm like, does it even make sense? Like, can you even do that? I guess it might be possible to make houses train units, but why? And once you have all 24 houses, you'll be spawning like sheep non-stop. No thanks. like I said, the only problem is the rallying. The rally point for the sheep. That's the only problem about him. Otherwise, he's pretty fine. I believe most other H1 advisors pretty solid. Either as a niche, Impact Leon, Leonorius, Tutmos Violin, or just overall power, Philon Zephyros. I seriously need to do the analysis. Okay, those were the H1. Let's move on to H2, and I'm just gonna keep it short. So, General Heron. That's an advisor that you don't really see that much because if I remember, he gives line of sight and snare resistance, which I mean for H2 advisor usually pick economy. So yeah, suggestion here was going for snare immunity, which is nonsense right away because goddamn snare immunity is like really strong power. Like you might not feel it right away, but because your units cannot get slowed, it helps a lot. And just giving it to every single cavalry unit just like that for free for H2 advisor, that feels dumb in my book if you ask me. And another question, would it be really picked after the change? Who knows? King Minos, here it's suggesting giving huge snare to your infantry, which in PvE you don't really care about snare, okay? Snare is not really that useful stat, so it doesn't gonna do anything. And yeah, about Heron, I don't know what to do about him, to be honest. I mean, snare resistance is nice for your cavalry. This is rather like you make your cavalry into scouts, which is something he would do rather in PvP, and again, similar case to Odysseus here. I just don't see the value here. And King Minos is just a huge snare again, that's just good for PvP, not PvE. So yeah, I don't really know what to do about those two. Like snare resistance are not like, in my opinion, that great stats in PvE. In PvP, that's a different story. But yeah, I don't really know what to do with those two. Okay, sergeants, and that's Timo, Hermolaos, and Heraclius. Currently, all three sergeants give 12% cost and train time, which is really good. Excuse me. To the specific units, without caravans, both the infantry cavalry sergeants are quite solid and useful, whereas the range advisor competes with Guyana. I mean, yeah, infantry cavalry are just fine. If you want to pick them, you can pick them. Like some cavalry units are really expensive, some infantry units are really expensive. You can pick them in those situations. Now with range, it's a little bit different story. And I actually tried Timon. Is it Timon or Timon? Timon, right? I tried Timon once, and it was like the idea is I want to train a lot of ranged units early. Guess what? It worked. It's all work. It was not bad. Okay, would I say she needs buff? Maybe a little one, a small one, maybe. But I think all the sergeants are good the way they are right now. I don't really think they need any buffing. So, not a problem here. Okay, what's the switches buffing? 15-20%. They had 15% cost before, then it was changed to 20% train time now. Are you suggesting to go somewhere between with both? Nah, no thanks. It just sounds as an overkill. And the range advisor to full 30% since it directly competes with Guyana. Like I said, Timon early. H2 ranged units. I think you might like it then. And then it just helps with getting a lot of units. Elkite, Wikmedon, blah 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 blah. Oh, to underperforming, perhaps all Elkite to affect research as well, the previous version. Okay, Elkite, 20% gold discount, 5% train time for all units. So it has a good usage if you're using some really gold expensive units such as the Capri elephants, sappers for Babylonians, or berserkers for Norse. You could find other examples as well. But yeah, those are like the few cases. You could find few others as well. Yeah, the problem is if I had to compare Elkai with other advisor, it would be like Todd, because similar effect, except Todd is 15% food. Todd at least affects villagers. It affects infantry, which is something you cannot replace the most. Or cavalry, obviously. It affects caravans. And that's pretty good, right? Because it's affecting like most of the units you have available to you. Especially so he's gonna have the effect sooner, much sooner, and it's gonna definitely be great because yeah, saving all those villagers, caravans helps a lot. Wikmeron, that's just units. Now it depends on what units, about what units we're talking about. But yeah, there are gold intents. But even then, you might be just putting like 1 or 2 extra villagers on gold mine or something like that. So it's a little bit harder with him. So yeah, like affecting research, I don't really want to see him affecting all the research. That just feels like I'm going against Socrates. I feel like I would love to see him affect like champion tech. Since he's affecting units, why not focus on the units then? And since champion techs cost only gold, he's specializing in gold. Why not go with that? I think that would make a sense. Doesn't need to be huge. Okay, village elder. Remove the portion affecting caravans, boost the villager train time to 30 to 40% reduction. I mean, village elder is fine with 15%, and going to 30 to 40% is just such a dump BS. If this would happen, dude, goodbye caravan meta. Here comes the villager meta. No, just no, this is wrong. Health region advisors just have disadvantage that in my book health region is not that useful, especially when we're talking about H2 advisors. Like, why should I grab health region when I can go with economy and make just a lot more units and make it easier for me to replace my units? That makes more sense in my opinion. Yeah, if anything they would need some kind of good buff for this, and even then I'm like, I don't really want health regen, I would rather have economy. So it's rough on these guys. Higgins should be equal to Narmer. Eh, questionable. Coral, give it to range. Nah. What's the point of having region all ranged? I mean, if they take damage, usually they die really fast. You just replace them straightforward. What's the point of having health regen? Okay, let's move on. I wanna end this soon. Okay, but if I remember, this is the one about building faster while paying more. To keep it simple, Badia feels like a disadvantage to me because you need to earn the extra resources, which means some work time. And if I work more on the resources, how much am I actually getting back from the build time? And that's the question. After checking, I was like, man, this doesn't work really well because I'm seriously paying so much. I'm not really getting the value back. So it kind of sucks here. Yeah, if I had to say, lower the cost increase because it just doesn't make sense. Cartimon do change to increased health and speed. Oh my god, again with the speed. You know what you should do? Just micro your druids. They don't need to keep up. Just micro them, split them into another group. You can move your faster army forward, and the moment that your druids reach them, they can start healing. Why? Because they started taking damage. You don't need speed if you ask me. What is it now? Health and training time? I mean, that's pretty good the way it is now. Much more speed, champions, bowman balance roughly. The only comps in which bringing on druids doesn't slow the entire army. I mean, like I said, split them and micro. Highly speedy should help with that significantly, and druids could also use more health. Isn't she already giving more health? Divitiacus. Oh, when you have seen Master Agape, there honestly isn't any point in Divitiacus. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, how often do you pick Agape? Just out of curiosity, how often do you pick Agape? Because I don't remember the last time I've picked Agape. You essentially have to use two advisors, Divitiacus and Shepherd. I kinda have to agree. Like, uh, I think if you don't use Shepherd, you'll end up better with farming anyway. But if you grab Divitiacus, you don't have to spend the wood into the farms. So slower gather rate, or just pick the shepherd and then all of a sudden it's better for you. Okay, what is the suggestion here? I think Divitiacus is fine to be honest, but let's just see. Does Divitiacus could use a change? Though, quite frankly, I'm at a loss as to which direction to go. Reduce train time, cost on units, and tech. Now, what's the point? Improvement to Celtic sacrifices. I mean, through advisor, I don't know. Okay, Usure, that's the camel one. Camel riders need massive buffs to be viable in PvE. 30% health damage, in addition to the other effects, is a good start. Yeah, it's a good start to get them overbuff those units. Why? Why do you need so much? 30% health damage, in addition to the 30% calorie armor and anti-calorie damage. I mean, the camels are just gonna slow the cavalry, aren't they? Going like this is, in my opinion, nonsense. I'll just go 20% health for instead of the 30% cavalry armor, to be honest, and that would be it. I would not really care. I feel like I would rather have my camels survive longer and that's it. Okay, Berosus, honestly, upping the cost reduction to 50% so that it's more to more in line with other temples for priest spam should be a good enough buff, as the other effects are quite strong. I mean, Berasus with the cost, it's fine the way it is, in my opinion. I don't really feel like I would need, like, what do I need? Food, wood to build ziggurat. Okay, now I need gold for the priest. Caravans. What do I need for caravans? Food, wood. Where else am I gonna spend it? Nowhere. Most likely. What's the point then? That's what I mean. What's the point? Like, I'm not saying it cannot happen, but I'm like, really does he need it? Nah, I don't think so. Oh, Britomatus. Allowing Britomatus to remove the TC build cap entirely. So you wanna tell me H2 I can build how many TCs I want? That sounds broken, because imagine I can just build my third TC, I can build my fourth TC right away, and then all of a sudden I'm spamming villagers. Why? What? Why do I need that? Doesn't make sense. Make an TCs for additional resource drop-off points. Why not just build a storehouse? Extremely durable static defense. I mean, it is, but isn't it better to just go with towers at this point? More damage. That's what I feel like. I don't know. It's just combined with 50% cost reduction. You don't need that. You don't need that. Why? Just try Britomatus. It's not like into every quest, in my opinion. Like, yeah, definitely better advisors, but if you want to use some defense and you don't want to spend the resources on something like towers, or you cannot even use towers, you can be fine there. I don't think he needs buffs. Okay, H3. Okay, but really quick. Okay, Hathor. I mean, one issue is you don't really need the extra damage against range and siege, since most cavalry units already deal with those pretty well. Pierce crush armor. Do they need it? Like I feel like there's a lot of cavalry units that already have the pierce armor, and 99% of them have crush armor. So what's the point? I don't see the point in this. Like, pierce armor, maybe. Crush armor, why? So I mean, he's changing them, but is it gonna make them like pickable? Isn't that gonna break them? Nah. This is gonna. This is weird if you ask me. I don't would pick Hathor even after that. Ligea. For siege users, the only unit he can really be used with is the war wagon. I mean, you can use it. You can use him with ballista catapults, whatever you like. But yeah, most likely range siege. Instead causing him to give siege 30-40% movement speed. Why? Why? Great, now they move faster. What's the point? I mean, I see the usage on rams. We already have advisor for rams. So why? I don't know. Yeah, it's fine, in my opinion. Stefanos, again, you wanna save the stone? Go ahead. Okay. So just either he gives a much larger stone cost reduction for all buildings to the tune of 75%. Why? Also, I think I did not mention this with Erastus. You don't need that much stone for the basics you need. Like, you need armory attacks, edging up, TCs. It's like 2 free stone deposits max. With Erastus, you don't need that many. You'll be fine with 2. So why bother? That's my opinion. Okay, Stefanos. Defensive bonus, armor, health. We got Cyric, H2. Literally look there. Why should there be another advisor giving you the same? Veriatos, that's the priest, anti-priest advisor. In my opinion, he just has disadvantage because there's not that many quests where the enemy would send priests at you and just a bunch of pre-placed ones, which is easy to deal with. And then this makes just Veriatos good against priest bosses, and that's it. I feel like we just need a quest with priests, that's it. Lots of priests. And you will see like how good he can be. But like giving tremendous amount of conversion resistance. Dude, even after this, I will not pay him. What's the point if I can just easily take care of those? This is gonna do nothing. Just nonsense. Up it up, cheaper, faster train time for priest. Directly with my app, not really. That's power versus numbers. But you could say that. Doesn't cut it personally. Would have him give either line of sight and range to priest. Oh my god, here we go again. Range, maximum range, because why not? Conversion and healing range, nah. Or have him give speed to priest. Do priests really need that? I don't think so. Where was I? Yeah. Bogios, Ostrata, Billy, Tom's Force. Up to powerful. Dude, Sostrata is really good on Egyptians. Build those fortresses faster, cheaper. Get your elephants out. I would boost both the build time reduction and the cost reduction to 50%. Oh my god. Just no. Just no. Why? 2 towers for the price of 1. Why? Nonsense. Honestly, Forza is fine if you're rushing to Golden Age or you want to save but you want to reach the Golden Age as soon as possible. That's where he can work. Pitas, I mean, solid H2 is above the H4. I don't know what to think about this one, to be honest. Kinda would make sense, H2, but I would argue that he would overshadow Pericles easily. So I'm like, yeah, but no. I think he's fine the way he is now, and if you want to buff your economy, making your ships cheaper, making your ships faster, he's fine. You can do that. Archers are fine if you can give them good backline, and that's the problem with Norse. They don't really have that great backlines. So you either use bowmen, throwing axemen, or log throwers. Log throwers most of the times just forbidden. Bowmen, They're fine, but you want to use them rather with dogs, because guess what? Dogs cost no population and they are better tanks. And need H4 advisor. And for throwing axemen, I mean, that's more focused with spearmen. It makes sense because spearmen against cavalry, throwing axemen against infantry ranged. It's just great combo. So I think Howard is somewhat fine. I don't really feel like that he would need a buff for any reason. Like, I don't see it. Okay, Batanatos, that's the Celtic defensive one, H3. He's excellent on Emic, Mech, everywhere else. Like I said, if you want to do something weird with towers, you can go with him as well. Allow him to give Celts access to all tower and wall upgrades instead of just one. Here we go again, we just want those towers fully upgraded. Dude. And this does what, actually? Isn't this just making this one situation and no one's gonna pick him anyway? This doesn't change anything if you ask me. And Kingston Senep, you mean general, right? He gave force a bit of extra damage as well, toughness. That was not great. I guess Egyptian siege, a bit of extra building damage. I mean, if you wanna go with that, you can. Accelerate countdown to the only siege Egypt really uses PvE are catapults, and I'm not sure that bonus to specific target is what catapult needs. Honestly, nah, catapult doesn't really need it. With that said, I'm not sure what to do if Senep gives siege a flat 25% damage bonus instead. No. For the love of God, no. Catapults don't need buffs like this. And blah blah blah. You can read the comments here. There were some recent posts about H4. H4 is just like advisors that are not gonna be used because they are legendary advisors. That's true. But is it their fault? I wouldn't say that. So yeah, I'll leave the link to this post in the description. And honestly, I would love to know your opinion about the advisors. And before you make that opinion, please try them. Please try them. Like I said, they might not be ideal for all quests, but give them a try in some few quests. Like I said, up in like the new quest pack 80 Socrates, except maybe of the Calydon or whatever it's called, the water one. Everywhere else you should be fine with him. Try Muik on, he's really good. See for yourself if they really need buffs. You might need some a little bit different play styles, just a little bit, but you will do fine. And that's all I have to say here. I mean, if you want, like I said, I would rather do some analysis of the advisors that are already here, but I would rather wait for it with the advisory work. So if you wanna see something like that, please tell me in the comments. Did you like this video? Like this, obviously. And yeah, leave a comment. What do you think about these advisors? Try them for yourself. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, remember the contest about the city decorations. Again, link in the description. So check that out if you wanna try win something. But competition might be hard on you, but give it a shot. Okay, that's all from me, so I'll see you next time. Bye.